It's a great time to be a Spider-Man fan. Over the past handful of years, we've had plenty of Spider-Man media to consume, including movies, video games, cartoons. A lot has happened, and there's still a lot more to look forward to. Spider-Man has been in the comic book world for over 60 years, and on the silver screen for over 20. Since his debut, the webhead has proven to be a box office juggernaut and something of a pop culture icon, but we'll always have a soft spot for Sam Raimi's beloved classic, Spider-Man. In the 90s, the baseline for comic book movies was a lot closer to Batman Forever than Avengers Endgame. For a while, the budding genre was delegated to cheesy fun with a few exceptions, until Spider-Man helped break the mold. Sam Raimi, known for works such as The Evil Dead and Darkman, wasn't on Sony's radar to direct, but campaigned for the job due to his love for the character. His passion set him apart because he wanted the film to be a teen drama and put the focus on Peter Parker, who he is, and his relationships with his loved ones. Not necessarily what he could do with his powers, but why he uses them. Enter Tobey Maguire. A pretty unlikely choice for a big action role, but his dramatic chops make him an excellent Peter. He's a humble and relatable everyman, the perfect centerpiece to keep the fantastical story grounded. The rest of the cast was equally perfect for their parts. Rosemary Harris, J.K. Simmons, Cliff Robertson, and of course, Willem Dafoe, all giving extremely memorable performances that would come to define the characters going forward. So much so that Simmons would be asked to return for the MCU's alternate take on J. Jonah Jameson, and Robertson makes a quick cameo as Uncle Ben in Sony's Into the Spider-Verse. What sets Spider-Man apart is that the film wasn't afraid to take itself seriously. It takes its time letting us meet Peter, his friends, his family, and learn how his world works before his fateful run-in with the spider in the science lab. We don't even see him don the classic red and blues until 54 minutes into the movie. But by putting so much emphasis on the man behind the mask, by the time we finally see the web slinger swing through NYC, it feels earned. Since then, that's become the formula. Throughout the early 2000s, we saw origin movies run with it again and again, so many times that nowadays studios are skipping origin movies altogether and cutting to the chase. 2002 Spider-Man changed the game for comic book films by managing to hit the right notes at the right time, which paid off when it was the first movie to cross the $100 million mark in its opening weekend. This was no small feat for the time, but especially mind-blowing for a comic book adaptation coming hot off the heels of Batman and Robin a few years prior. Spidey has always been Marvel's slam dunk, and in 2002 he brought his A-game to the megaplex. At first glance, Sam Raimi is an odd pull for the superhero genre. When thinking of Raimi, your immediate thought is almost always his horror repertoire. But looking back, his campy humor and striking visual style gives the action sequences a unique, almost timeless quality, if you ignore that singular ad. The movie takes itself very seriously at times, but still lets itself have a lot of fun at others. That tone, mixed with the clear reverence for the source material, makes Spider-Man a quintessential entry point for a traditional Spidey story. Teenage superhero, newspaper photographer, elderly aunt, juggling heroics with school and work. All the basics of the character represented almost flawlessly. To the point, every Spider-Man movie since has steered clear of stepping on Raimi's toes. 2012's Amazing Spider-Man danced around this one by finding ways to reinvent Spidey's origin and status quo, and the MCU opting to skip the origin trope entirely. No need to reinvent the wheel. Apart from paving the way for the box office juggernaut of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Spider-Man gave us one of the very first Stan Lee Marvel cameos, back when he was a blink-and-you-miss-it bystander. Mix all that with a sepia tone filter and plenty of patriotic shots of American flags, and you got a wild ride. Danny Elfman's beautiful score is just the icing on the cake. Raimi wasn't Sony's first choice, or even in the top 10, but he was certainly the right choice for Spidey. More than 20 years later, Marvel tips his proverbial hat by borrowing Raimi's takes on these iconic characters and the amazing actors who brought them to life. 2002 Spider-Man set the stage for what a superhero movie could be and helped break the budding genre out of its funk. There will always be another new Spider-Man flick on the horizon, but we'll forever have a soft spot for his big screen debut. We hope you enjoyed this episode of PHASR Audio. This episode was based on the essay Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 20 Years Later by Zack Zopp. For more pop culture deep dives, essays, and articles, head over to PHASRmedia.com. Peace, y'all.